Hey there, students. Thank you for being part of this presentation. My name is Luis Silva, and today we're looking at world history, the new imperialism, 1850 all the way to 1914. Based upon this image, what is imperialism? If you look at the bottom of the map, there's a box with a list of countries, and each country has been assigned a different color. For example, the first country that you see here is Belgium. Belgium has a dark purple color. If you look at Africa, the center of Africa, there's a dark purple color. That area was controlled by Belgium. Now, if you look at France, it's a lighter purple color. And you also see that the northern western part of Africa is color-coded with a light purple color. That area was controlled by France. Now look at Great Britain. You see how much land Great Britain controlled in Africa, in India, Australia. This was complete domination by the British. And this is what imperialism is. A country controlling other countries, basically. Now, based upon this image, why would Europeans want to imperialize? Take a few minutes, pause this video, and ask yourself, why did Europeans want to imperialize? What did they gain from controlling other countries, other peoples? And now, based upon this image, what was the impact of imperialism? You see the white man sitting there, seems like he is getting a pedicure, he's very happy, very relaxed. And what are people doing for him? What does this tell you about imperialism? From the year 1850 all the way to 1914, the strong industrialized nations of Europe used imperialism to seize colonies and dominate the local governments and economies in Africa and Asia. But what is imperialism? Imperialism is basically Europeans exerting influence over the economic, political, and social lives of people they colonize. In this particular presentation, we're looking at Africans as well as Australia and India. Why the industrialized nations of the world imperialized? This is a good question, and there are many answers to this question. One of the reasons was nationalism. Nationalism in Europe meant that each nation wanted to become the most powerful nation. And having a lot of overseas colonies showed power. And at the end of the day, this turned out into an all-out race for the best and most numerous colonies in Africa and Asia. There was also economic competition between European nations. The Industrial Revolution led to a huge demand for raw materials, so countries could make more factory-produced goods. The Industrial Revolution caused a huge demand for new overseas markets to sell their finished goods. And obviously, having numerous colonies in Africa and Asia helped fuel the Industrial Revolution like never before. And another cause was the missionary spirit. Christian missionaries wanted to convert the uncivilized natives in the world by creating churches, schools, as well as hospitals. The Europeans believed in an idea called social Darwinism that argued that whites were most evolved in the superior race, and therefore they had to uncivilize those people that were inferior to them. Also, Europeans believed in the white man's burden, that they had a responsibility, a duty to civilize the world. And this was a prevalent idea that pushed many European nations out into the world. On top of the spirit of nationalism, on top of the spirit of economic competition, you also had the religious component, which called for civilizing those people that they consider inferior. Now let's look at some forms of imperialism. The first form is a colony. And a colony is basically when Europeans seize a territory and rule it directly by sending governors to the colony. Another form of imperialism is protectorate. And that in this type of imperialism, local governments exist, but Europeans make all real decisions in order to protect their trade. And finally, spheres of influence. This is when nations gain exclusive trading rights in territory, dominate all trade, but allow the local government to make other decisions. These are the forms of imperialism that were practiced by Europeans. We have come to the end of this presentation, and I will see you in the next presentation.